Ladies and gentlemen, we have something very, very, very juicy to discuss today, and it is, of course, the irrational actions of members of the Hoyoverse community. Because boy, oh boy, whenever you think of anything odd, anything crazy that goes on in a gacha community, you can almost always assume it's going to come from a Hoyoverse fandom, right? That's one of the issues, that's one of the struggles of being a very big gacha game franchise with a lot of fans. It turns out a lot of those fans can sometimes be, well, a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And this is an example over here of a situation of a lot of individuals who play this game not thinking very rationally. So we got a post over here by El Frito, Genshin Impact player, if you can't tell by the Lauma PFP. Yeah, it's really odd how these guys refer to themselves, but this guy isn't the issue. They got a bit of a summary, right? They got a really highly viewed tweet. So Skirk's VA, Cat Pertano, was harassed to leave Twitter because apparently the integrity of a gacha character is worth more than that of a human being. Y'all are not good people. So one thing that's really true about Twitter is that people really love posting like cryptic tweets about what's going on and then reveal absolutely no details about what's actually going on. You read this and all you know is that a gacha character is why somebody is leaving Twitter. So we did a little bit of investigating. We did a little bit of researching to find out, you know, what this poster failed to actually portray to us. And it appears that this is what has occurred. I didn't realize, and this is a post from Cat Pertano herself, the VA for Skirk. I didn't realize it would become a big deal. But just to clear things up, it's a crack ship for funsies. It was brought on by me and Blythe being silly, and I didn't mean to insinuate any kind of grooming or mischaracterization of Skirk. I spent many hours with... So, this is a little bit of context of what's going on over here. Over here, we've got a picture of a character over here, which I believe is called Rarir, and of course, Skirk on the very right. You'll see at the bottom, you've got the VAs for the roles. Cat Pertano is actually, in real life, dating Blythe Melon. And Blythe Melon is the voice actor for this character. She's the voice actor for this character. And as a bit of like a joke, as a little bit of fun, because, you know, they're, I guess, emotionally well-adjusted adults, they made a bit of a joke ship about these two characters because, well, I imagine there are more reasons than just, you know, them dating in real life. They both got the white hair and the red eyes, that they're dating in the game, right? That's what you call like a ship. Two characters that in lore aren't actually confirmed to be, you know, having that sort of relationship. You just kind of headcanon that there is for fun. That's how some people enjoy their games. That's how some people enjoy their anime. That's how some people enjoy their media. It basically happens in every single sort of fandom, pretty much all the time. And the situation that has actually occurred is that there's been a very, very big public uproar. I know her and her character very well at this point. I'm sorry if it upsets anyone. It was purely me being silly and in love and enjoying something with my partner while being appreciative of fan work. It was never serious, I promise. And it was mostly me being excited I could share the experience of being in this game with my partner. Guys, this is like you having the opportunity to work alongside your spouse or like your girlfriend or something like that. Then again, I realize I'm talking to gacha game players, so maybe that's really unrelatable. You know, it's like being able to work closely with like a really, it's like having the opportunity to collaborate with like a really close friend. And that means that the work you're gonna do typically, right, it might be a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative, because you already got that relationship going on over there. And right now, this is what has caused her the backlash, the response by this absolutely insane community. This response to her just expressing her excitement of working with the person she's dating. She's stepping away. I realize I should be more professional and represent my work better, so I'll be stepping away from Twitter for a bit and keeping things professional for the time being. And you want to know what kind of like one of the worst parts about this is? This is basically a VA stepping away from a toxic community, deciding not to engage with them any further because of the harassment that they've received. And it is so awful that this is happening to this VA in particular, because you can actually look through their post history. You can look and see what's going on, and they literally engage with the community so often. They engage with the community on a lot of different levels. Obviously, you see a lot of like the ship stuff going on over here. They engage with the community a lot. They have so many posts. They're always doing a bunch of stuff. They're basically advertising the game for free on their Twitter profile. You can see what's going on. And essentially, their tweet is them just saying they're not doing this anymore. And this is where you can see a lot of like the joke stuff, right? This is where you can see like the community engagement, that sort of stuff. They're very goofy. They like having fun. That's clearly the vibe that they're giving off in a lot of different respects. And now they're not doing this anymore. They're done. And the awful part about all of this was that this was something that was literally making the community better. This was something that was giving Genshin Impact a like positive sort of reception because of how, you know, this VA was interacting with the community. Isn't it just poetic that the community that she's trying to improve, the community that she's trying to go ahead and mingle with, engage with, they're the ones that have gone out and tried to cancel her? Because we've got some posts, we got some evidence, we got a breakdown of the situation and how some of the official subreddits, so on and so forth, are handling it. So let's go ahead and see what some of the compilations are looking like from the most unhinged members of the community, ladies and gentlemen. I caught some of them. Okay, so here we go. This person over here was able to catch who's actually causing the harassment, and they've compiled some evidence. I caught some of them before they privated their account. This does not mean this does not include the barrage of DMs thrown at Skirk VA. Live and let live does not work with these people. Literally, it's so fucking weird, bro. You can be together, but don't transfer that into the game when it's really weird canonically. Too fucking hell, bro. At least Sayu isn't sick in the head and can separate the two. Hey, guys. Is it sick in the head to, Fellas, I can't believe I'm saying this. Fellas, is it sick in the head to want to do things with your partner? Fellas, is it sick in the head to have fun with the person that you're dating? These guys have decided to let their, these guys are like almost like Genshin conservatives. That's almost like the right term to use, where like, it has to be exactly what's on the screen. Otherwise, it's... Oh, they're letting like this whole like lore accuracy, like, oh, it has to be canon. They're letting it bleed into the real world to the point where they're accusing people of having mental illness because they want to have fun in a video game, or they want to have fun based off of a video game. And it's just like, yes, you could say,
oh, they need to keep it professional, right? They can't insinuate things about these characters.
And it's just like, okay, brother, her boyfriend, partner, whatever you want to call it, voices a character, she voices a character, they're dating in real life, and so they make a joke about dating in game. Yeah, she might have posted about it a lot, but you can view that more as a reflection of her love for her partner versus her desire to tarnish the lore of the game. Yes, this is clearly a sign. This is an individual over here who I believe has genuinely just not known love in their life. And because of that, they're acting in such a freakish manner. So let's go see another collection of individuals who also have this crippling emotional disability. Let's keep reading. Okay, well, that's the profile. Male, female in general must be eradicated. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Kale Rick wants to end the human race, because that extinction is quite literally the only outcome of whatever they're saying. Maybe like that's what they're going for, and they're really for like that, you know, like, oh, humans are doing so much damage to like the world itself, and so we should all, you know, just go extinct to like save the planet. Maybe that's the angle that they're going for, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a really out of left field way of going about it. So yeah, I mean, it's just, well, naturally, there's a tweet as well directly below it. MF ships, male-female ships, such as this one, are spawns of the devil and must be eradicated. I just want you guys to look at, I I'm not trying to get political with this, right? I'm not trying to get like religious with it, but isn't it just this statement over here? Male-female ships are the spawn of the devil is like, that's just kind of ironic, isn't it? I feel like, yeah, I'm not trying to really go there, but it's just, if you just think about it for a couple of seconds, it is really ironic that this is something that the person wrote. Like, that's like the opposite of what it's typically been, but I guess 2025 is the year of creative writing. So, that's another one over there. Now we got this one. Normalization of hetero slop in Hoyo fandoms is deeply intertwined with the rise of... Fellas, is it fascist to like girls? Hey, to all my brothers out there, fellas, I guess it's fascist to like girls. I'm not gonna lie, this is crazy. This is what I meant by mentally unadjusted individuals at the start of the video. And I'm gonna be honest over here, I didn't even pre-watch any of these comments. I just expected that they were going to be crazy. And let's just say that I have not been let down. And this is kind of like the situation that's going on over here. Is that you're seeing this done for Genshin Impact, you're seeing this done for Cat Pratano and Skirk, and the characters that are in that game. But the thing is, well, it's already been done before, ladies and gentlemen, and I've got the excerpt from a previous video that really showcases it really well. You all remember this past post that I made regarding Honkai Star Rail and how it had one of the worst Twitter communities, just one of the worst overall shipping communities in the history of gacha. And let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same photo. It's basically the same photo. These are all of the individuals who decided to go ahead and demand that their developers go re-roll IRL because in a trailer for one of the Honkai Star Rail versions, they went ahead and showed the main character of Honkai Star Rail, who is gender fluid, by the way. They can be a girl or a boy. That's how the game works. And then the male character is the one that shows up, and of course, interlocks hands with Alicia, Cyrene, whatever you want to call her. And this caused people to freak the fuck out. This caused people to schizo out. Start demanding for devs to go 6 feet under because they dared show a male-female interaction in game. Guys, it's insane what this community is capable of. And it is insane that this community does it across every single game. You guys remember the other situation over here, right? Where we had Zenless Zone Zero and the Yazuha situation, where the VA, supposedly, allegedly, we don't have proof, but it kind of, the fact that this issue didn't really blow up anymore kind of seems like proof of it to me. The VA said she had no idea this was even like an LGBT flag, and she just posted a random GIF. And then she proceeded to get canceled by so many individuals in the community, to the point where people are making jokes about how ZZZ was always bragging about having a good community, was always bragging about just being a bunch of silly gooners, right? Oh, all we do is we have fun. She got canceled for this one as well. And so it's like, it kind of goes in both directions, right? If you inherently, accidentally push for LGBT or whatever, right? You get canceled. If you push for male-female ships, or sorry, make a joke about male-female ships, you get canceled. If you show your gender-fluid MC holding hands with a female character, you get canceled. I don't know what it takes. I don't even know what the bar is for getting canceled in the Hoyoverse community. I'll just call it the Hoyoverse community because we showed an example from literally all 3 games, and they've all happened in the span of like 3 months. Show how hypocritical this community could be in fine detail. This is a post that the Skirk VA made on the 14th of June. You didn't hear about this one. You didn't hear that, you didn't hear about any drama about this situation. Well, that's because I imagine this is a woman and this is a woman over here. So it was okay. It was legal. She was legally allowed to show this one in the Hoyoverse community. But maybe if she showed this in ZZZ, she would get canceled. So yeah, I don't really know. It is, it is what it is. Yeah, sometimes I guess you just gotta like throw darts at a board and see which one's gonna ruin your career and which one isn't. I guess it's just a risk that every person working on a Hoyoverse project has to take. Such a lovely work environment. When you see how this community reacts, what they do, what the end results and the consequences are, it's quite simple. This person who is an asset to the community, who is actually helping Genshin Impact look better, do all of these things, right? They're not doing it anymore. That's the outcome. That's the consequence, right? Xiao Ji, the Honkai Star Rail Des, probably see the outcome of all those crazy posts on Twitter, the ones demanding for his demise. And they probably don't even want to try to interact very much more with the HSR community. And of course, right, Yasuha's VA might have been somebody that, wanted to be a little bit more active on Twitter. But I dare say they're probably not doing very much of that anymore. Because why the hell would they be posting on the Twitter first place if not to interact with the community of the game that they voice? And when they see what the interaction with the community is like, well, the natural conclusion is, we need to get the fuck out of here. We need to, find an excuse to no longer do the things that we're doing because it's leading to some pretty dog shit things. And that's the Hoyoverse community. And of course, right, this would be something really important to draw attention towards. This would be really important to basically take the behavior of and publicly outcry about how toxic and bad it is. This would be something that the community should discuss, right? So you can weed out who the bad apples are, name and shame them so that they don't do this again. Those would be the actions of a community that's looking to police itself, moderate itself, right? Control itself and improve so that this doesn't happen again. And yet, news about this situation is being actively censored by the Genshin Impact community. Yes, people that should be getting context about how their community is acting so that they know what not to do or that they know this behavior is bad, because clearly there's a lot of maladjusted individuals that play Hoyoverse games. This would have been an amazing situation for the Genshin Impact community to become aware of so that they can prevent it in the future. But instead, the mods have decided immediately, oh, this makes Genshin look bad. We only let posts on here that make Genshin look good. Get it out of here. Get it out. We can't have this post over here because it shows the toxicity of our community. And of course, our goal as the Genshin Impact Hoyoverse community is to be toxic positive. And so that means we have to hide when the community is being toxic instead of addressing it so that it doesn't happen again. We'll just put it under the covers. And you want to know what the funny part about all of this is? This post literally could not have broken any of the rules. We look in here, right? Nothing in it breaks any of the rules in here. But you want to know what this post got removed for? Rule number 11. Moderators may remove submissions with repetitive content or certain generic topics to help maintain subreddit quality. So, this is the situation. This rule basically means the mods can delete whatever they want for any reason. Because what the fuck does this even mean? Certain generic topics to help maintain subreddit quality? Can you give me an example? Wait, couldn't anything under the sun fall under this fucking umbrella? This is a non-answer. And basically, when you look over here, it's now starting a review process, but it got removed for rule number 11. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And you want to know what the funny part about all this is? You want to see the types of posts that the subreddit does allow? They'll remove this. News about the community. News about all of this stuff, right? But they'll leave up a post like this, which is literally just there to invite brigaders to my channel. They show my channel name. They show my video. They basically redirect people to my YouTube page so that they can brigade my videos. Then they just leave it up with all of these comments of people spreading misinformation, saying all I make is Genshin Impact hate videos, actually lying about the content on my channel, so that they can fuel even more brigading and even more hate towards my channel. The number of comments that I received across multiple videos following this situation was so insane that I even made a follow-up video just farming this entire thing. And you want to know what rule this clearly breaks? Obviously. Please stick to basic discussion etiquette and refrain from insulting or harassing others. Yeah. You don't need to scroll particularly far to see that rule is immediately getting broken. And in a similar way, couldn't you say this also falls under overall subreddit quality if you're going to use that as the reason why you took down this post? Where you're going ahead and you're literally just linking a CC that critiqued your game and inviting people to go harass them. That increases the subreddit quality. But a post talking about what the community is doing wrong, a post highlighting where the community is being irrational, why a VA like Cat Pratano, who had a ton of engagement with the community, is no longer doing that. That's a post that reduces the subreddit quality. Interesting. So clearly, right, this is a display of double standards, but this is also just another expose on why the Hoyoverse community is literally the worst in gacha history, where they go ahead and they'll do anything in their power to be good people, except just be good people. They love the image of appearing prim and proper, of being well-adjusted, all of these different things, because at any single time there's an actual exposure of the community for being unhinged freaks, they'll do their best to pretend that it never, ever happened. And so the mods, the community is actively trying to censor this situation. But the great news is that's why we make these videos. That's why we go ahead and re-record these incidents. That's why we farm this drama. Not necessarily just to get views. That's part of it. But it's also to make sure that we have a record. That I have all these past videos that I can reference regarding the situation. Really? So I can talk about them again and again and again in future videos. Because it's kind of funny, right? It's kind of like a Russian doll over here, where it's just one video inside another video inside another video. And all those videos are about the dog shit things that these games communities are constantly, consistently, always fucking up to. And it's never gonna stop. Do you want to know why? Because this community allows it. And this community doesn't actually want to change. They like what's going on right now. And unfortunately, stuff like this, where they harass their VAs from publicly communicating, they like this as well. Because I think one thing is abundantly clear, right? From what we're seeing on the screen right here. These are individuals that don't have a lot of power, a lot of control, a lot of sway in their day-to-day. And they're going to view this as a win. They're going to view this as them getting one up on somebody else. And when individuals like this clearly don't win very often in their day-to-day life, they haven't won possibly ever in their life, you can see why they so desperately try to bring others down to the depths of where they are in their existence. And that's really just the explanation. And there's so many players like that in these communities. And once you realize that, you register that, all of this toxicity makes a lot of sense. People talk about how Wuthering Waves is such a bad community. We make fun of Genshin Impact. We make fun of Honkai Star Rail. We make fun of Hoyoverse games. That's the main extent of it. Comparing waves. Making fun of how dog shit your games are. You guys go out and harass people for liking girls. Or you go out and harass girls for liking boys. What the f is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And once you find the answer to that question and resolve it, maybe this community won't be viewed as an absolute joke. But then again, I don't think that's a label that anyone here is really looking to shed. So yeah, that'll be that for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we've been able to provide the context and a bit of a, a pre-watch into the internal workings of all of these individuals who, let's just be honest here, have a bit of a mental illness. So yeah, that'll be that for this one. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.